Good evening, everybody. Hey, you guys, this is Ragen. We're on episode 10. How crazy is that? And I'm going to totally slaughter her last name. So now I'm not even going to try. I'm going to let her do it after I drop this card and let Nina, not Nita, Nina Daisy introduce herself. Hello.
Hi, guys. My name is Nina Daisy Aberlein. But you can call it Aberlein, Aberlone. I've heard all of them. It's fine. I'm the creator of Sunrise Blossom, and it's so great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So glad to have you too. And we're just gonna
bounce all around.
We're kind of bounce all around. I don't know. Some people are not comfortable being on the big screen. You know, like Nita. She hates that. She hates when I do that. Nina Daisy, tell us a little bit about Sunrise Blossom.
Okay, so I'll give my multi-practice pitch.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. Harpies, girls kissing,
nice.
Falcons, drama. Sunrise Blossom is a coming-of-age story about Ivy, a young falcon harpy abandoned by her birth mother and raised by a family of owls. While traveling with her sister to learn about human culture, Ivy has an argument with her and is separated from her, only to be picked up by a human woman, Violet, who helps her discover herself and bloom into womanhood, both emotionally and physically. But it is only after a dramatic turn of events that Ivy discovers her feelings for her human companion. Okay, there we go. I did it.
I fucking love you.
Thank you.
That was brilliant. Meredith, unmute yourself and talk.
Well, I love the story idea. You know, you are reaching an audience that I don't think is very well served, at least not very well. And so when I read that on your IndieGoGo, by the way, it's on IndieGoGo. Head over to I've got your short link here somewhere, and we're going to post that too. Sunrise Blossom, and it is volume number 1. Now, this is started over on Webtoons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your journey in Webtoons and comics. I love the Genesis story.
Is it more of, and also, are you more influenced by comics or manga?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know many people will get upset, but technically they're
the American people get upset.
Yeah, exactly. But technically manga is still comics, and on my shelves you've got a little bit of everything. So I've been drawing comics for a little over 5 years now. And how Sunrise Blossom was born was during my second year of comic school here in Italy. And one of the assignments that they gave us during that year was to make a short 4, 5, 6 page comic on whatever topic we wanted, with whatever script we chose to write, or if we wanted to do something with a pre-existing script, that would also be okay, as long as it wasn't in a realistic or semi-realistic style. So they wanted us to do something in a more French style or more cartoony style, to step out of our comfort zones. And at that point, I had really been into Monster Girls for some time. Like the anime Daily Life with Monster Girls. It's horrible in the sense that it really objectifies and sexualizes women, and it's a harem, and it's unrealistic, but they're so colorful and they're so cute. And so I've really been into Monster Girls for a while, and so I thought, hey, I'll just make a short 5-page story about a woman accidentally hitting a bird with her car while driving at night, and then bringing the big ass bird back home to nurse it back to health, and then waking up with a naked harpy in her bed the next morning.
Wow.
But after that, I had fallen in love with the concept and with the characters. And so as soon as I finished the ongoing comic that I had, then I got started working on this one.
Nice. You did.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what did that come from? Did that come from a dream, a daydream, a night dream? You kind of woke up. I mean,
I just really like bird girls, and I wanted to do something with it.
Mhm.
And so, like, so the first thing, so actually, I guess it kind of goes a little bit further back than that. Technically, because so when I was a teenager, I had a little bit of therapy, as is normal with most people these days. And at the very, very beginning, the therapist that I had asked me to do the Rorschach test.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the ink blot test, like show me pictures, tell me what you see, that kind of spiel. On one of them, I told her that I saw a harpy, like half woman, half bird, that kind of deal. And the therapist told me that answer kind of surprised her because nobody had told her harpy with that picture. And so that stuck with me. And then I've watched the anime Daily Life with Monster Girls, and I was like, oh, yes, this is so pretty. And I became obsessed with them. And so when the time came for comic school assignment in which we didn't have a script to work on, I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to go with this urban fantasy setting.
I love that. So now tell us a little bit about like when you first decided. I mean, what was the deciding factor for you to get into comics? Because just so you know, Nita hates when I age myself. I saw that. She hates when I age myself, but I'm 49, and last year is the first time that I had something published. And I'm glad that I waited because there's so much to learn as far as the whole process, the industry. It's not just, I mean, it could be. It could be for the people who are just like, oh, this is a hobby and stuff like that. But after going through the process and learning it, I feel for me, it is a journey. It's something that I want to continue pursuing. And so, when did you kind of get that bug?
Well, it started roughly when I was still in high school, when I started working on my first few projects. And I just started because I really like telling stories. But I wasn't really good at writing, and I didn't have the patience for writing, but somehow I had the patience to stay there and spend several hours working on one page of comic. But I also, like, at least for my first projects, they were, and they still are technically, very, very heavily character driven. And so a small story that I often like to tell on how I like to maintain my motivation, especially in my earlier days, is that in my very first comic, not my very first, my very first big comic, around 90 or so pages, I had a story about two souls that were born in the same body, but they were complete opposites. And so when the body died, the souls went in two different directions. And during the entire story, pretty much, it was them trying to reunite. And so what kept me going was the thought that if I didn't do it, these poor people would never be reunited. And so my pushing and motivating factor was, I have to keep on going, because if I don't keep on going, these poor girls will never see each other again. And so I did that, and then it continuing just became a sort of habit.
That's actually a beautiful story.
Thank
I
you.
like it.
So now I'm looking at the at your IndieGoGo, and I'm going to bring that up here. In a
Yeah,
moment
you want to
to
share the campaign?
Yeah, I'm going to share that right now.
And I just reached 79% earlier today.
Ooh, congratulations! We want to get you to 100.
Yeah.
Let's share. Let's share this. So now there are a lot of people out there who might not know what GL comic is.
That's girl love.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's girl love,
the-
or Yuri for the more manga fans, I guess.
And now I saw the two of you kind of exchange a look when it came to manga, right? Because
Mhm.
Because of the
the
way
American,
our country has
because the
stigmatized
American,
it.
right? The
Our
American
comic book
audience
people
is
are like, what? It's not the same. Bitch, it's fucking animation with dialogue or illustration with dialogue. It's a fucking comic.
Mhm. Yeah. So take a minute to talk about that, because for me, in my perception, it's almost like, okay, in America we call them hurricanes. Uh,
In Japan, they call
in
them
Japan they
typhoons.
call them, yeah. It's just like,
It's the same thing.
so
It-
what? Why do
Well,
you think that is?
because the
if you were
Japanese have better art and we're jealous. What?
well, the Japanese are better than the rest of the world in many things, but they're also
I'm gonna get
poorer in
banned.
other aspects.
Right.
And this is something that while I was in comic school, we studied pretty heavily to tell the difference in styles, not only artistically, but also in storytelling and several other different aspects. So technically, they're all comics. And if you were to tell me that mangas are just comics when I was a teenager, I would have been the type of person that would be like, no, it's not. But I've grown and I am past that now. So I guess we just mostly use the different terms just to separate the different kinds of style. But at the same time, I think that's kind of I'm not going to say it's dumb, but like American comics and French comics are very different, but there's no really two words to differentiate them.
Mhm.
And there are so many ways in which they're better. Like aside from the art in some of them, because the art depends on the artist and not on the style, but like the way that they do action and the storytelling with the action, I personally find to be a little bit better than most American comics. But hear me out. Before people in the comments go be like, oh, but Superman is the best. Oh, yay, Thor, whatever. Yes, Marvel DC action is really good, but it's also very different because in American comics, action and fight scenes are normally like one panel, one punch, next panel, one kick, and in 2 or 3 pages, the entire fight scene is over. And I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just very different. While in other schools of comics, like in many shonen series, uh, first that come to mind, like One Punch Man, Naruto, but also technically series like Berserk, which are very filled with action. One page does not have one punch, one kick, one roundhouse kick, and so forth. But like the way that the sequencing is studied and the way that the dynamicism is portrayed is completely different. So the ways both that they use action lines, but also the ways that they use blank space, or how they do lines completely differently in big movement scenes, convey movement in a way that is completely different from American comics.
Oh yeah.
And so while I believe that American comics does things better than manga, like personally, the way that they do inks, the way that they do some characters, depending on the universe and depending on the publisher company. The way that they do colors, I personally prefer them. And of course, this is all a matter of preference, but it's also a completely different matter of style. Like if you also put French and Italian comics in the mix, it's all so freaking different. Like French comics are like Asterix and Obelix, 1010. There is action, but it is completely different from American comics or Japanese comics and Italian comics. So I don't know if you're familiar with them, but like Tex, Dylan Dog, Diabolic, they are all, despite being comics, they are all so realistic in their art style. And it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea. But again, it's still a matter of preference. And also because of their almost hyper realism in the way that they're drawn, the action is not conveyed the same way, because even though in action scenes the anatomy is always a little bit exaggerated to make it a little bit more fluent, if you're using a very realistic style, it's still going to look a little bit stiff.
Right.
Stiff, sorry.
Now, I'm looking at this. So when I was going through your campaign and I was reading through the pages that you have shared, and I love this conversson.
It's one of my favorite scenes.
And so anybody who is maybe listening in and not watching, there's a conversation here, and the one is saying, "So, like, are you gay?" And I don't know about you guys, all right, but so when I was in college, and this was early '90s. Everybody was in the closet, I mean, you didn't talk about it, you certainly never asked. And
Right.
so here we are, and having these conversations. And I think that's beautiful that we finally gotten to that point where we can do that and not be like, oh, or be
Right.
offended or anything like that. And and this is so, in a way, it's so simple, but for me, having friends who have come out through a lot of adversity, and some of them having been disowned or separated from family because of it. I'm like, wow, we came a long way. um, and I really love and appreciate this, because again, it's like those conversations where people are growing up, and they're kind of finding their way and finding their true selves, and I think it's really beautiful.
Yeah, there's still sadly a lot of hate out there. Like when I pre-launched it, so when it was open for the mailing lists, um like I got a couple of troll signups. Like
Mhm.
there was one who put as email puke@gmail.com.
Oh,
Oh my
And at
god.
first I was really impressed, like, oh wow, this guy was actually able to get puke@gmail.com. But
so
then I
they're
was like, oh
trolling
wait.
for a long time. Yeah.
Yes, but we have gone, it has improved a lot. And if it were 20 years ago, I definitely would not be able to make this kind of comic the same way that I am now.
Mhm. Yeah, even this where it says, I mean, you seem pretty lesbian to me. It's like, back then it would have been a complete insult. Like, what are you trying to say? What are you calling me? And this just seems so matter of fact. Like, one is kind of question. Like, I don't know, what is it? Tell me more. And it's like a question of coming from a place of love and not from a place of like I'm offended or something. Like, how
Right,
dare
right.
you? Mhm.
Hmm.
And so it just seems really cool to. Have you had any other pushback though?
From the like LGBT side or in general?
In
Just in
general.
general.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah. There is a scene later in the story. I'm not going to say too much because it would be a big spoiler of a really big plot point that
Okay.
is later on in the story. Um, but to make things simple and not too spoilery, at one point in the story, the main character finds herself in a situation of servitude, kind of, that she has no real say in. And the person that she serves is a real jackass. And at one point, there was a very heavy but also light scene because nothing bad happens, in which the guy, so the person she is serving, does aggressive sexual advances towards her. And everything is stopped by one of her friends, who is also at the moment in the same position as she is, who steps in to save her, kind of. And so in the end, the person that they are serving goes away with this friend of hers instead of her. And it was a very heavy and emotional scene because there's this. Yeah, it is pretty damn heavy. And I have had friends who literally blocked me and stopped talking to me because of that scene.
Oh, wow.
Like, I handled it, I have to say, I handled it really tastefully. Nothing violent happened. Nothing explicit was ever shown. Anything sexual was only lightly, well, not even that lightly, it was only
Just
implied.
suggestive.
It was
Exactly.
suggested, right?
Exactly. But I have literally lost friendships out of that one page.
That is
Wow.
insane.
Wow.
But it happens. I guess it's
And
better to lose them early than later.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a really good attitude, and one you almost have to maintain, unfortunately. And I just think that this is the sweetest scene here.
No, right?
You know, it's like, I think I'm gay. I know. You know. So, do you want to sneak to a gay place tomorrow night? And I'm like, okay. I just think it's so sweet, and I really do hope that people are paying attention and come over to your IndieGoGo project and give this some support and love. Now, what? Because I'm, a lot of people, they see pound sterling and they get frightened. What is it? Is shipping kind of prohibitive to the United States?
Ooh, interesting topic. Thank you for asking that. Actually, I have managed to strike a deal with RJ from Critical Blast.
Nice.
And so with the shipping, with this comic, all shipping to the US, so all copies shipping to the US, I will ship to him, and then he will ship to people from his place with the fully tracked shipping, really safe. And so shipping is not only going to be safer because the cheapest shipping option from here to the US otherwise would be like roughly 20 euros with no tracking.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, I am able not only to make it safer because it is fully trackable, but also shipping to the US will be, keep in mind, this is a 220 page comic, so it's like a pound roughly in weight.
Right.
And it'll be 13 euros, which is about 15 USD roughly.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
which is a
that's
lot
not bad at
considering.
all.
Yeah, so considering the price of the comic, the weight, and the size of the comic, because 220 is not really a 40-page volume.
No.
It's pretty good, and I am really glad I was able to organize this with RJ to get the shipping down.
That's awesome. Yeah, because there are a lot of people, they go, oh, I see that symbol. It's not a dollar sign, and it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, do I want to back it? Can I back it? Because for me as a shopper, a consumer, I'm like, I don't want to pay more for the shipping than I do for the product.
I should probably add a sentence about it near the beginning saying, hey, by the way, shipping to the US is not $30, $40, $50, but it's only 15 USD roughly, since it's a pretty good point.
Right.
Yeah. Now, what, so is the book done? All done.
Yes, I mean,
Nice.
the art is all done.
Mhm.
I published the season 1 finale on Webtoons a couple of weeks ago. And I am currently working on editing the comic. So many pages were already in traditional format, while other pages are currently only in the vertical Webtoons format. So I just have to fix them up and put them in the right order.
Mhm.
But for at least roughly the first half, I have to redo a lot of lettering, because aside from poorly rookie placed speech bubbles and poorly paced speech bubbles as well, so I have to fix a lot of that. I made the horrible mistake when I started with this comic to use Comic Sans.
Oh.
And so I am redoing most of the lettering while doing the editing. So now I am roughly 1/3 done
Mhm.
with editing the English version. And once I'm done with that, I'll have to get to translating it into Italian. So I also have something that I can sell at cons and stuff. And
Nice.
so it's going well.
Mhm.
Nice.
Now, I'm so glad that you mentioned cons, because what does con season look like over on your side of the pond?
Good question. People are starting to advertise conventions and then canceling them a week before.
Oh
So,
no. Oh no.
so I'm actually waiting at the moment before signing up to any of them, both because I don't want to lose money and because I don't want to like book B&Bs and have to cancel at the last minute. So I'm gonna wait a little bit longer before looking into it with more detail. Like they just started vaccinating uh, people 55 and above here. So they just started vaccinating them. And
Wow.
I must shamefully admit that Italy is a lot behind other European countries when it comes to vaccinations. But we're getting there. And as soon as we get there, I'll start booking places around northern Italy.
Mhm. Now, have you been able to get on other shows and things like that to help promote this? Because it's not easy with the time difference. And I really appreciate you for being here. I mean, setting the alarm clock. I'm like, Nina, we could have scheduled this earlier in the day, you know.
But earlier in the day, there's also much less of an audience. Um,
It
like
varies really. Like if you want to
It
get on a
does
US show early in the mornings too, does really well. Like around 9 or 10 a.m.
I
Mhm.
have done a few morning shows as well as a few early afternoon shows. Um, what was I about to say?
We were talking about
Lost my train of
shows.
thought. Yes, right. I have been on a few early in the US morning shows. Um, and so far it's been going well. But
Mhm.
also because of the variety in audience that there is out there, if I only do morning shows, I am heavily limiting myself.
Mhm.
And so since the campaign will only be going for a month and the heavy promoting is only for like the first week, 2 weeks or so, then I don't mind waking up at 2:30 in the morning to come to evening shows and try to spread the word.
Well, we appreciate you for being here and sharing your
Especially
story.
the delay.
I know. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry for that.
It
I'm a
happens.
slave to my family's work schedule.
And
Nita,
I'm a
did you have?
chicken.
Yeah, she's a chick. No, she usually boots herself out. She's like, nope, I'm not doing it. Nita,
What?
don't you have questions for our guest? No,
Well,
wait, you go fit you.
if it's a black
Well, I
moment, you
mean,
could try putting on the trailer if you
yeah,
want.
that's what I was gonna get at. I was like, are we gonna just sit here and stare at it or play it?
Well, yeah, we're gonna play it as long as there isn't any like copyright music. We're good with that.
No, royalty-free music. I paid $20 for it.
Ooh, all right, here we go.
Yay!
Hey. You know, I would love to see that with a little bit of voiceover.
You know, I actually I tried doing with a little bit of voiceover. I even have a version of the video in which I'm at the end with my pirate hat, introducing the comic and introducing myself. But like putting it right next to this one looked a lot better. Also because the sound in this room isn't the best. This is the only microphone I have.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though I've tried to like, I can even try to get the link to the other one that I did. But even though I tried to add like a live scene,
Mm-hmm.
there we go, a live scene with in which I speak at the end of the video, it was okay. But I've asked several friends of mine. I was like, hey, what do you think? Which one do you prefer? And this one won by a
Mm-hmm.
long shot.
Mm-hmm. Visually, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it
Thank
really
you.
is.
Yeah. So now, what was the decision to kind of jump from webtoons to printing this?
There's no real money in webtoons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like there's real money in crowdfunding either, but also every other project that I've had so far that I present at cons, I had to like pay directly from my pocket, and
Yeah.
so I was like, you know what? This isn't a small 10-page zine that I can just spend 100 euros on and get 50 copies. This is a bigger project. It's heavier, and if I want to invest in it, I would have to invest a lot more in it. And so I was like, you know what? It might be better to go for the crowdfunding instead of paying directly from pocket. And printing has technically always been my intention, both because this is my biggest project to date. There might be bigger ones in the future. There might not be, though. Given how long my life hopefully will be, there will most likely be longer ones in the future. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. Printing it, so at least I would have something to sell at conventions and something to present myself with. And aside from the flower crown, make myself a little bit more memorable at conventions. So printing it had always been my intention.
Now, having been busy with running the campaign, how are you? How are you as far as, I don't know, kind of balancing work life and not killing your refresh button?
I am dangerously close to burnout, but I keep pushing that forward because I got to push through the first few days. Like the first week is a big deal. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to burn out and have like a day in which I don't talk to anyone, I'll do that later. I can hold
Mhm.
on for now.
And I have to tell you, having come off of a crowdfund ourselves, we know how exhausting it is. It's like the day after you finish funding, it's
You
like,
die.
yeah, it's like, so it's like, don't expect expect me to return your messages. Don't, I'm just gonna pass out, and
Raw men to
And
that.
everybody's calling you and they're like, congratulations. And you're like, fuck off.
right. It's like, no, I'm too tired. Just don't
Don't.
talk to me.
You're like,
It, yeah, it's like the hangover the next day.
and it's more than a day. It was like 3 days
Yeah.
to return to any sense of normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But so now the story continues with Sunrise Blossom. I'm assuming because we see volume 1. Are you currently working on volume 2? Do you have other projects that you're doing?
Yes, actually. Let me see if I have the book right here. Yes, there we go. So I've got most of the plot fleshed out for volume/season 2. It's right here. I dare you to read it. Um,
Ooh, such a
um,
tease.
I've got a really good
and I've
Zoom.
also got most of the character designs for
Oh,
like the
very
new
nice.
characters.
Now, are you introducing new characters then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like this guy.
Oh,
She's such
Okay,
a
just a
tease,
little
in like
bit.
Meredith.
super slow mo.
All right, a Raging exclusive.
But at the moment, I am on a mid-season hiatus while focusing both on the crowdfunding and finishing all the editing with the first volume/first season. And so yeah, most of the I just so pretty much for the second volume, I just gotta work on the script, storyboards, and get started with it. But I have pushed the pause button on that while I'm finishing again both the crowdfunding and the editing, so I can take a little bit of a breather before I get into it.
Yeah. And I'm getting ready to pull up your YouTube version.
So the YouTube the link that I shared in private chat was the second version of the trailer in which I have my lovely face at the end with my pirate hat and I introduce myself.
Now, is that something that you want to play too, just to see what the feedback is that we might be
Yeah,
getting?
sure. I'd love to
Okay.
hear the feedback. I mean, I can add multiple videos to the campaign, so if the feedback is positive, I can just add it to the list.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where I'm a big fan of voiceover because, well, okay, so here's the thing that I do. I usually watch a trailer twice, once with my eyes open and once with my eyes closed, because of the podcasting that I do. It's just out of habit. And then when I'm trying to also develop my own trailers and things like that, I always think about the people who might be listening in their car. And so if there's no voiceover, they're only hearing music and they're like, what is this? So I think of it from that aspect. But let's pull that up here. Let me stop this screen and grab this other one because I'm also a firm believer in people connect with people. You can have the best product and things like that, but if they don't know who you are or they don't connect with you in some way, it's a hard sell. And that's one of the things that we love about interviewing people is like trying to get to know you as a creator, trying to get to know your backstory, and then the things that you're working on, because of course we want to promo you and we would love to see this fund. If you're tuning in, you guys, make sure that you head over there, and if you can't throw some support at it, you know what you could do is hit the share button and share it with your network of people, because that is everything. For writers, a lot of times it's reviews as well. For comic book creators, independents, of course, the feedback is great. Make sure that if you get to meet up with Nina Daisy, you gotta spread the word and let people know, because that's how we grow. So let me pull this up here, full screen, and this is going to have basically you at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty much
Let's
almost the same trailer with an extra segment at the end
sweet.
in which
Let's
I wear
see.
my Pastafarian hat and introduce myself and the project.
All right, let's hopefully I have the volume on for this too. All right, here we go. Round 2.
You gonna share it, Mary?
Did I not?
No, you
There
did
we
not.
go.
Well, you got the tools, Nita. I'm in another tab. Hit the button.
You've got to play it. You've pulled it up. I put it on screen.
You put it up on the screen?
It's on screen. Go.
All right. I thought I did that. All right, here we go. Trying again.
To dig it.
Oh, hello there. I'm Nina, author of Sunrise Blossom. I've created a 220 plus page romance and fantasy comic. I'll be selling it at 25 euros a copy, 45 euros for 2 copies, or 30 euros for a signed copy with a signed print. So, do you like girls kissing? Do you like harpies? How about fairies? If you said yes to any of these, then Sunrise Blossom is the comic for you!
I love
Oh my
that. That's what I mean. Throwing in some personality and stuff. That's awesome.
That was brilliant.
And I love the hat.
Thank you.
Oh, let me see here. We've got Pops is joining us. Hey, yo, Pops, what's going on? What's going on? So, Nina, I have to ask you, okay, because this is RAGIN.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do crazy challenges?
Ooh. I mean, if you want to take my clothes
scared
off, I
her,
think
Meredith.
that's a bit difficult. But I guess it depends on what on the challenge.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any marshmallows, so I'm not sure how much chubby bunny I can do.
Okay, it was just a question, to kind of put in the file box for things that may be coming up soon. I don't know, but I wasn't gonna scare her, Nita.
You did. She got uncomfortable and put her clothes more on, Meredith.
As opposed to
I got one button and done.
Anytime somebody gets more dressed in front of you, there's something fucking wrong.
I want to know what else is coming though, with your projects, because you did allude to, you kind of gave us a teaser and stuff like that, and developing that IP. Do you take commissions? Are you working on other projects and things like that? Like what are you doing, and how can we get the word out for you?
I do take commissions, and I actually very recently, let me get the link to the file. There we go. I very recently did a variant cover for the upcoming comic of our friend Mike Jimmy. So he is soon releasing. He's actually in the pre-launch phase at the moment for Life on Korra for Inner Talents. Mm-hmm. And I have worked on one of the variant covers for that comic.
Very sweet. Hold on a second. Let me.
That launch party, by the way, will be hosted by us.
Nice.
Yes, it will. That launch party is on the schedule for Friday, June 11th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if I'm not mistaken, he wants you and Rich Parada to come on with him.
Oh, it's possible. Mike, Rich, and I are like super tight.
Yeah, so take a look at this. Let me pull this up on the screen here. Add that to the screen. Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is absolutely gorgeous. Now,
that light work is impressive.
Now, so do you pencil, ink, and color this?
This one, yes. Pencil, ink, and color.
Wow.
Thank you.
I do. I love how you do this. It looks so fluid.
Thank you.
It does. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, this whole one coming up is going to be all aquatic, so it's going to be really interesting too. So
water is not easy. So when it comes to drawing and stuff, what would be like your biggest challenge?
Horses? Dead horses. Oh, so difficult.
Horses. I hear that it is one of the hardest animals to draw.
Yes.
Really
Good thing we have 3D models that I can use to help if I needed to draw horses. But luckily, there aren't any horses in my comic, and I don't foresee having to draw many horses anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess one of the hardest challenges that I've had in the comic was keeping some character designs consistent. Because like sometimes I just do without thinking, and then I look at the older pages and I'm like, can I say the F word?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
And I'm like, fuck, this person had different hair.
She didn't see my sign.
So like sometimes I draw the character who had hair here, and I drew them with hair here, or like cat ears, like that went from here and then they went to here. And I was like, frick.
Yeah, I mean, so what's the trick then that you have for that to try and keep them consistent now?
So now I don't have them, but I keep sheets of character designs plastered on the wall right above my computer.
Right. Did you start off with, like covers, pinups, and things like that? Or have you always kind of migrated towards sequential art?
Well, I think most artists start with like little doodles and things like that. I actually have, wait 1 second. I actually, when I moved out a little over a year ago, and my mom was going through boxes of some of my old things, and she found a notebook from when I was in 5th grade that were filled with some of my very, 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 very first drawings.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, she's going to find it for us.
We get an exclusive.
Okay, wait, I have to get a chair.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh, she's gonna kill herself on the chair. Oh no! The day that Nina dies on RAGIN.
Oh my god,
that would be terrible. That would be horrible. Don't do it.
I would never have stood on a chair with wheels.
Are you crazy, girl? Standing on a chair with wheels.
During a live stream.
That's I've got a live stream.
We would have been like, whoop! And she would have been her feet up there and would be like, do they have 911?
Oh, how cute. No, it's like,
that's adorable.
What they say on the IT crowd, 996.
9991. No, 9991. I used to know it by heart.
Oh my gosh.
Nah.
We just finished watching that.
3. That's all I remember. When Moss pauses, he's like, 3.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, those are cute.
And she saved them.
I mean, there's lots of art that I should have saved, but I can't really find anymore.
Yeah.
But very first.
That.
So this is roughly the time when I decided that I wanted to be a fashion designer, and I started taking drawing more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, this one's nice. Here. It's Gabriella from High School Musical.
Oh. That is really like how did Mom part with that?
She never really would have looked at it anyway. Mm-hmm. I think. I mean, she's got so many boxes.
Oh, look at that! So it began early.
Like so many boxes of like old art from like middle school and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she was like, Nina, there are so many boxes here. Do you want to throw it away or do you want to take it?
Yeah.
See, my mom did that. You know what I chose to do? Mm-hmm. Threw it away.
Oh no.
Yeah, she gave me this big old huge box, and it was like shit from kindergarten to 5th grade.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And as soon as I took it out of my car, I threw it in the fucking garbage.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I recently found a couple of the sketches that my kids did when they were in school, like in a box that I haven't opened in like 10 years.
I'm a bad mom. I don't keep anything.
Well, I was thinking about, so here's the thing. Okay. I've got boxes of photographs and sketches from the kids and things like that. And it's these things I've been carrying with me over and over and over again. And so I told my husband, I'm thinking about scanning them and then just getting rid of the physical copy. And he went,
that would take forever.
He was so offended by the idea. And I was just like, why? You know, I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
so
I
much
get that.
easier to like scan it and save it on multiple flash drives. It's like, and if the kids are ever curious, just send them the flash drive instead of like boxes of these images.
We stick it on the refrigerator or on a cork board in here until the kids either destroy it themselves or the cats do.
Oh,
And then it's gone forever.
yeah. I don't know.
I take pictures sometimes. Sometimes.
Well, I guess that's what social media is for these days too.
I
Right?
As soon as
guess.
something is there, you can just like take a picture of it or upload it, and then it's there.
Right?
Well, speaking of social media, where can people find you, Nina?
I wish that I had done the smart thing and put the same handle on every single social media, but now on many of them I can't really change it.
Yeah.
So on Facebook, there's my page that is Nina Daisy Nina D Aberlein Comics. Then you can find me on Instagram at nina.queen.b. On Twitter, I am at Nina's Blue Tie. And on TikTok, I am at Aberlein Comics, which alas
You're
are
on
all
TikTok?
different.
What are you doing on TikTok?
Trying to spread to a younger audience.
Mhm.
But also something that I sometimes like to do on TikTok is that sometimes I find a video with an audio that I like, which is normally like part of a funny conversation or a funny part of a song. And then like I do sketches of my own characters reenacting that scene. And so I make a video of my characters saying those things or reenacting that scene also to spread to the audience. Like there's this like one of the first ones that I did like that I personally really like is one of the characters. Have you ever seen Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
Yes.
Yes.
So one of the characters singing the song from the first season, I have friends. I definitely have friends. Friends, friendly friends. Time to meet the friends. Uh, and so she started introducing her very few friends. And so there's like, I'm Paula, Daryl, lady who hit your car,
Oh no.
which I thought fit with the theme of the story. And so yeah, videos like that, but also I do slightly more dynamic videos from the webcomic. So what I would do whenever I would update the webcomic, I would take screenshots of some of the panels of a scene and then put them in the mobile phone video editing program and like making like dynamic and sequential, and then add some cool music and post it on TikTok.
That is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't understand TikTok. I'm like, I don't even know how to follow people, I don't think. I might have done it once on accident. But I see people doing neat stuff and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I want to do that, but no. I need an app intervention, okay? Seriously. I need an app intervention.
No, it really does.
I sign up because I want to stomp on that name. It's like nobody gets my name, and that's about it. And we are getting close to our hour, and I appreciate you for being here, Nina. Now, so when I first looked at your art, I was just like, oh, it's to a younger audience. And then I read it and I'm like, no, it's not. How do you kind of explain that to people, I guess? I mean, because I think that for some people like me, when I first saw the art without any words, without any context and stuff like that, I would think it was like sweet, kind of a young, maybe a preteen kind of
well, if you're 13
audience,
or older,
demographic.
then this comic is absolutely fine for you. I mean, if you're 10, 9, 8, you can
that might
read
be a discussion with your parents or something.
Yeah, but it's like, but then it would be like watching the second Indiana Jones film. Like if you're 10,
Right.
you can watch it. But I mean, like, yeah, there is the scene in which the dude rips the other guy's heart out and they eat monkey brains and stuff like that. And it did kind of scare me as a kid, but it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy Indiana Jones. Yeah. Like there are a few heavy scenes, but they're definitely a lot less compared to the heartwarming ones. Like there's this really lovely scene very close to the beginning in which the art is still a little bit rough because it's stuff from almost 3 years ago, in which the main character's adoptive mother breaks the news to her that she's not an owl and that she's adopted. And it's a really cute scene in which they have this heart-to-heart conversation. And she's like, "Mom, I don't want to go stay with owls for a while. I can't fly at night. I always crash into the trees." And she's like, "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. You'll be staying with owls." And then like they hug and make peace. And I think it's really cute.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And for anybody who is tuning in, make sure that you head over to IndieGoGo. Look for Sunrise Blossom #1 by Nina Daisy Aberlein. And she's got 26 days to go on her campaign. So make sure that you give it some love. I'm going to hit the follow button right now and make sure that is shared out to our network as well. If you're tuning in, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well and look at the show notes because we're going to be adding her links there. So you can follow her on our social media. Make sure that you go to her webtoons and subscribe there as well. Because I think when it comes to webtoons, you can get there is a point where you can get monetized, isn't there?
Yes, but that is actually a lot further down the line. Because to get monetized on webtoons, you need to reach 1,000 subs. Yep. I've got there. I'm at like 1,240. But you also need 40,000 US page views a month.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Yeah. But if those who are watching are fans of Tapas, I also publish on Tapas. And on Tapas, I have already reached the monetization requirements months ago, and I did not notice and I did not activate it until a week ago.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Cool.
Okay, so we're going to share that link as well. I'm not going to do it in the chats here through StreamYard because a lot of times that's a big no-no on YouTube. And Facebook seems to
Facebook hates us right now.
Facebook hates us. Facebook does not like our friends either. So
whenever I post anything with a link on Facebook, and this is something that our marketing teacher doing comic school really put a lot of importance on. Put a nice art, put a nice image, lots of emojis in the text part of the post, and always say link in the comments because otherwise the algorithm will eat it up.
Now, you've mentioned this comic school quite a few times. Do you want to give them a shout out?
I can, but they're in Italy and they're Italian, so there's a very small chance that they'll be watching English language material. But hey, Scuola Comics di Brescia, thank you very much for having me for those 3 years. And please share your students' and alumni's work a little bit more often. And thank you.
I love Italian. I only sing Italian, but I don't understand a word. So... Nita,
throw the dudes.
You have final words? Throw the dudes. Nina Daisy. It was a pleasure.
Party on, dudes.
Yes. Yes. All right. And thank you guys for tuning in. Let me find the card.
Always be excellent to each other.
Awesome.
Always be excellent to each other. Great final words. Nina Aberlein. Nina Daisy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Episode 10 on RAGIN. Thank you for being here. Go back to sleep. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning or something crazy like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 4:30 right now.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, we appreciate you for being here and setting the alarm clock just for us. You guys have a great day. We're out of here.